uh, want to identify, okay, the channels are, crushing it with the same audience, and then say if there's this video format, say the exact editing style to grow on YouTube in 2025. Say that's the video. So I can change that for my channel, say the exact script writing style to grow on YouTube in 2025, right? Literally exact same format that I can just take and apply, right? That, and just by having conversation of the ideation chat, I don't have to scroll YouTube for hours. I don't have to, do all this like random research, right? So that's number one, starting a new channel. And then there's all of these here, right? Also for like social here, right? If you want to write video descriptions, you can paste your video script here, description. If you want to create a social media package, if you want to write a newsletter that can turn your existing content to a newsletter, you can do that. You can write blogs with this ideation chat too. This is something that I also recently found out, just like playing with this for many hours. You can use it for script research, script resources, news integration, post-production if you want to create a short list, visual resources, researching successful thumbnails. Right? You can do all of that with the ideation chat. But really, the main thing that you want to use is here. It's the competitor research, right? You can find competitor channels by criteria. You can find high-performing videos on a certain topic. You can find outlier videos from a competitor. So let's say, hey, I really like this channel. What are the videos that are performing super well on that channel, right? And then how can I remix it? So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. How can we analyze a channel, analyze this channel's content strategy, and give me the top 5 ways I can improve on it for my channel? Present the analysis in the table format, right? Perform a detailed SWOT analysis comparing this channel with this channel, right? You can find content gaps. So a lot of the times, content gaps just means that if a lot of channels are talking about, using this indicator to make money with trading, let's say, right? This is the first example that came to my head. What if we can find the content gaps? Hey, what are these channels not talking about? And then I talk about it. So I will be the first covering a certain topic. So if you're the first covering a certain topic with a certain angle, theoretically, your video will perform better. Does all of this make sense so far? Does identifying content gaps, looking at competitors, is this useful so far? Can I get like ones in the chat? Yes, yes, yes. Just like how I think about it. Like you just just spam yeses so I know like we're going in the right direction and this is actually something useful to you guys. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so like really just like these tools are really for a couple things. If you have questions, come and ask questions. That's number one. Number two, it's for me to explain how I think about things, and then you can take the way I think about things and apply it to your channel, right? Or think of the way that I use the ideation bot, because it requires certain thinking frameworks in order to actually apply it. So literally everything that I'm saying can apply to any channel out there, right? The ideation bot will be able to apply to any channel out there. You just kind of have to understand the way that I think about it, okay? So maybe let's just do a live demo right now. So let's say this was one that I was doing today, right? Find videos from this channel with an outlier score above 0.8, right? So let's say, and just to explain to you what an outlier score is, for those of you who don't know, basically the outlier score is calculated by what is the average views on your channel, right? And say the average views on your channel, you take all of the views on your channel combined, and then you divide it by the number of videos. Say the number is 1,000. So your average views per video is 1,000. But if you were to, so an outlier is when you have a video hit 10,000 views, 10,000 views versus 1,000 views. So that's a 10x outlier. That means that video x above what your videos currently perform. Does that kind of make sense? So 10x outlier, 10,000 views versus baseline. So there's extensions out there. So like, let's say we're running a real estate channel, right? I had a bunch of calls today talking about how to grow a real estate channel, and I know a bunch of you in the audience run a real estate channel too. So a really easy way to do ideation, and not to say this is the case for every niche, but a really easy way to do ideation is that you can go here and you can see these 5x, 2.3x, right? These are just extensions that help me figure it out. So you can see here 7.5x. That means this video performed 7.5 times above the average views of the channel. So let's say like I got on the call today and someone had a real estate channel talking about how do you talking about selling getting real estate leads for like as a real estate agent, right? And she was in the area Kansas City. So here you can see this video performed 7.5x times. Avoid moving to the wrong area in Dallas, Texas. So a really easy way to swap it out is, hey, I know that the format of, okay, avoid moving to the wrong area is a big fear that people have, and I want to create a video around that fear. So you can say avoid moving to the wrong area in Kansas City, for example, right? And it doesn't matter in like what area you live in, you can literally take the exact same format. This is called a format, avoid moving to the wrong area in state, and you can just apply it to your state, right? That's one of the easiest ways to get ideas in the real estate niche. Real estate niche is actually one of the easier channels to do ideation for. So, or for this, right? These Dallas suburbs will explode in 2026, or these suburbs will explode in 2026. Get in early, right? So it's literally just fill in the gap. Or let's say this one, right? Where Dallas ultra wealthy choose to live. Literally just replace that where Kansas City ultra wealthy choose to live, right? And you can or thumbnail, you can use it like a different thumbnail text maybe, but like that's the idea of finding outliers and adapting that for your niche. In this case, right, say you're a real estate agent in Kansas City, then you just do a one-on-one swap, really easy, right? Or what I explained just, which would be, oh, if someone had a video on the exact editing style for a channel in 2025, if that video is a 10x outlier, I can take that and adapt it to script writing. So it's the exact script writing style to grow a YouTube channel in 2025. Can you see how that's like very that's a very like systematic way to think about it? And I'm going to show you how to use the ideation chat to do that. Dalibor said use default in a rush to ChatGPT. The thing with ChatGPT is that ChatGPT is great, right? I think it can do a lot of stuff, but one of the things that it cannot do is that it cannot talk directly to YouTube, right? ChatGPT doesn't have the context of what YouTube, what's working on YouTube. So for example, everything is data driven on YouTube, right? Like all the decisions that you make should be data driven, because if you can see something that's working to your channel, that makes the likelihood of it working a lot higher rather than you just guessing, right? So we want it to all be data driven, and that's what ideation chat is good for. It's good at talking to YouTube, right? And because it's able to talk to YouTube, it's able to extract data from YouTube, and that way it's a lot easier for you to collect that data versus just scrolling YouTube for hours and hours, right? You know, probably same fun, but if Claude instead of subscriber, Claude is built into subscriber, right? Is it important to respect the same length video? So like, you know, obviously it's not just the title and thumbnail that makes a video work, right? You also have to watch the video and understand why the video performed well. You can also use the ideation chat, right? It's like, hey, this video was a 35x. Can you analyze the content and tell me why it performed well, right? So we'll do all of that. So let's say we want to go here. Like, let's just go back to the ideation chat, right? Find videos from this channel with an outlier score above 8. So find videos from at Living Dallas, right? So I'm just going to put the at. I'm just pasting it here with an outlier score above, let's say, 3 that was posted in the past 365 days. So I'm only looking for videos that performed in the past 365 days. You could do, you know, 2 years or 3 years, but generally, if the video was performed more recently and it's more recent outlier, updated for like the current audience, you know. So we'll just let this load for a little bit so you can see here. It's using YouTube channel lookup. Bang. Okay. And we'll just see what it creates here. And it's going to take a little bit longer than like GPT-5, just because it has to scrape like a live. So all of the data that you get here is actually live, right? Like rather than just rather than it just being like old and outdated like data, which is what ChatGPT is, right? ChatGPT has the ability to scrape YouTube data, but it may scrape it in 2021 and then it doesn't scrape it again, right? So that's one important thing to note about how these LLMs and like large language models work. So you can see here, right? Just now previously I had to scroll, but if you just talk to it, like, oh, you can see here, you can see the views, we can see the outlier score. So if I were to, you know, like be a real estate agent in Kansas City, I can say where Kansas City is ultra wealthy, choose solution, right? Or amazing $3 million luxury custom home near Kansas City. Insane price cuts in North Dallas, right? And then obviously you want to do a little bit of critical thinking to really figure out, hey, can I actually apply this? This is actually true, because maybe in Dallas this might be true, but in Kansas City it might not be true. So maybe this idea doesn't work. Or Dallas, Texas, most affordable homes only 20 minutes from Dallas. Sotera. Okay, I'm not based in the US, so I don't really know how to adapt it. But like, let's say Kansas City, most affordable homes only 20 minutes from I don't know, like somewhere like, you know, somewhere like somewhere more central in Kansas City. I don't know anything about US real estate, but yeah. But you know, just from here, and you can ask it to create more, right? Like, let's say give me 10 outliers from the past 6 months, and then it can give you even more. And really, just by pressing a couple buttons, you can get yeah, just by pressing a couple buttons, you can get ideas for the month, right? Or like, and even here, it's like, hey, I like these 10 outliers. I want you to remix them for my real estate channel. I am based in Kansas City, right? So it will literally take the outliers and then it will just replace it and, you know, give you fresh titles specifically for your niche, right? And obviously you have to do this step by step. iShin Chat like talks to YouTube directly, so it takes a little bit longer, but that's pretty much how you would get ideas. I'm not seeing how to get numbers. You should, yeah, it's the vidIQ extension or like the 1 of 10 extension, or like the view stats extension. Like all of those are good tools to use. But you can see here, it's just like formatting this, and then let's see what it comes up with. So ranking every Dallas, Texas area from worst to best, every Kansas City area from worst to best, right? These Dallas, Texas suburbs are booming in 2025. I don't really know what a suburb is, but like maybe that applies to Kansas City, right? Never buy these types of homes in Kansas City. Can you see how like this is just like a really easy way to come up with ideas? I'm not saying every idea will be great, right? Just by like finding outliers and then remixing them. But this is a really fast way in order to get a bunch of ideas that are validated to work on YouTube and then just apply for your channel. And this is just me doing it for one channel, right? What if I did it for, you know, 4 or 5 channels of my competitors? Right? What if I did it for 4 or 5 channels of my competitors? I can immediately get a bunch of ideas. I can probably get 100+ ideas. Here I'm only asking for 10 outliers, right? Maybe let's just do this last prompt so that there's enough time for a Q&A. But like, if you do this for 4 or 5 channels, you maybe get, you know, 20 to 30 ideas, let's say. And of those 20 to 30 ideas, you can look at that, and then you can be like, hey, right, this is the easiest for me to produce, and then I can sit down and I can record it tomorrow, right? Plug in the subscriber, and then you can write the script tomorrow. Nothing super complex. And then some videos will take a little bit more planning. Let's say you have to do a $3.6 million house tour. Then maybe you have to, you know, get videographers and whatnot. So then there'll be a bigger project. You can plan that for down the line. But that's the power of having all of these ideas already planned out. Yeah, that's the power of having all these ideas kind of already have planned out that you can kind of just, you know, go ahead and do whatever with. Right? So yeah, you can see here like formatting is a little whack because the text is big, but you can see here where Kansas City's ultra wealthy live. That's a good idea. KC neighborhoods ranked, right? So top three KC neighborhoods, right? Affordable lake homes near Kansas City, right? All these are potential video ideas. KC suburbs set to boom. That's another video. KC new homes with low taxes. You see, like all of this is already like inspiration. Is this helpful for you guys? Just like seeing how I think about it for real estate, and then applying it for like kind of any niche. Can I get like a yes? Like type yes in the chat, and then we'll probably start answering some questions here in a bit. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Like there's just a couple of questions in the chat I'll answer real quick. I feel like I still need to adjust my niche. How can I use this to nail my niche, Brian? Kind of depends on your niche. Right here, it's really easy to do niche research. So for example, I'll show you a channel that I was doing some research for. Oh no, the chat disappeared. Let me see. So like it's like I'll kind of just show this chat. But like let's say you wanted to run a channel on like talking about Japanese traders, right? So like, oh, I like the channel. I want to make a channel like this. That's a sample video. I'm creating a channel around Japanese traders. The thesis is that anything with Japanese, right? And then it'll give me an analysis of this, right? Oh, is it true that every title with Japanese performs well? Right? I just wanted to figure out. Okay, no Japanese mention. Okay, not an outlier. No Japanese mention. Yes, it's top outlier. No, it's massive outlier. This no, this yes, right? And you can kind of just talk back and forth a bit, right? These are other similar channels. Give me data on whether it supports my original thesis. So once again, my thesis is that anything with Japanese in the title performs well because people love Japanese content. So like, hey, does this support the thesis? Yes, no, no. And then here, more data here. So like you can like what I'm trying to show here is that you can actually validate your niche by like looking at all of this data. Does that kind of make sense? Right? Just by talking back and forth, like, hey, I think a channel like this would work. Find me example channels like this. Oh, okay, example channels like this. Oh, give me the RPM for this. How much money do they actually make? Right? And then I think it'll be able to extract the data. Oh, like what are the top viewed videos? And oh, give me video ideas for that. So just like following that logical chain, like, oh, I want to validate the niche is good. And once you validate the niche is good, you can make adjustments based on that. Let me answer a couple questions, but I know there are a couple of hands raised. Can you find some ideas or show some examples for programmers? Like it would be the exact same thing, right? It would be, hey, what are what programmers not code related? So like no code. Maybe you can clarify that for me. I'm not super familiar with the niche, so I don't really want to comment unless I'm super familiar. How would you use the ideation chat to research and find a new niche for Faces channel and get the best possible start of the channel? Kind of depends, like what like depends on like what niche you're like you want to find a new niche. Like if you want to find a new niche, there's like this like intel here that that you can like research niche with, or like really it's less of, oh, like you don't start with an idea. You really just start with an idea of what you want to have. So for example, I came to the ideation chat with the idea, hey, I want to do something on Japanese traders because I think it might work. So you want to go to the ideation chat with something that you think might work, and then just based on what you've researched, and then ask it, hey, is there data to support it? Yes, no, yes, no. If no, it's like, hey, what other niches would be great to start based on like a similar thesis, right? And then it'll give you a bunch of recommendations, and then you can do more research based on that. So you can actually just go like back and forth, like figure out something like that. Does that make sense? How new should the video be for it to be eligible for co-opting the title? If the video is 10 years old, for example, it may be worse than a 5 months old. Ideally, the video should be more recent. Like the more recent, the better. 6 months to a year. Depends on the niche too, right? Because it may be like an older video, but it can be something that you can adapt if you still see it working. Whereas there are some titles that like, oh, like it came out like 2 months ago, and then literally everyone copies it super fast, and then it just stops working, right? So there's kind of like like you have to be a little bit objective based on that. It depends on the title and how frequent it was used. And maybe like a video from like two years ago, massive outlier, but nobody capitalized on it because maybe no one found it. You can use it for a more recent idea. How would I create fictional content, e.g., children's stories from nonfiction videos? How would I create fictional content from nonfiction videos? I don't really know what you mean by that. Like you would need to give it like a base prompt. Like when you go on the channels and then you add channel, you add your voice, and you create the script, we need to give it like a base prompt for what you're looking for. Like you'll be feeding it the right research, but I'm not sure how you can turn fictional content from nonfiction videos. I'm not too sure what you mean. Maybe you can elaborate on that. I'll probably answer 2 more questions, and then we'll get a couple of people on stage to ask questions here. I'll stop presenting so you guys can see my beautiful face. Would it be accurate to ask Ideation Chat to analyze X channel similar to my niche and then recommend keywords or SEO optimized tags for videos? Would it be accurate to ask Ideation Chat to analyze? Yeah. Or you can just use your channel and then ask it to recommend keywords or SEO optimized tags. Like on the Ideation Chat, let me show you guys this. But like here, the subscriber has like this tool here that you can generate tags. So you can go here. So here, like say the only script writing video that you'll need. Generate tags just like this. Press one button and generate tags. Bang. Copy, select all, copy, done. Paste it onto your YouTube Studio. Yeah. Is there an API integration for us to use it in NAN automations? Not yet. That's something that we have a little bit down the road, but there's no API integration for now. I can ask Gil about that, but not for now. Maybe you can text me like the specific you're looking for. Can you use research to help with writing style? Usually writing style, you feed it into the voice function. So I'll just share this right now because I know not many people are super familiar with this. But we have this new voice function. If you go to channels and you add your channel, here when you create a new create a new script. If you go here on the top tab, there's the voice, and you click here, and you click new voice. So this is, but if you click a new voice, here there's this thing called V2 experimental, and I encourage all of you guys to go and play around with this because this is actually like a super useful function right now. And it replicates your writing style a little more accurate. So if you import transcripts from your channel, you just add your channel, and then it will create a voice based on this, just like add your channel. Or if you want to add certain writing samples, say you don't already have a ton of videos in your channel, you can you can literally like generate let's see here. Yeah, you can literally generate a voice of someone else to write for your channel, or you can add certain writing samples if you have like blogs and whatnot, or like newsletters, tweets that you want to add into the writing sample. You can just feed it into the writing sample. That's really useful. I highly encourage all of you guys to go ahead and use that feature. Are the prompt questions in school? Would be nice to have FQ or something based on results wanted with the prompt series to ask. Maybe Shane, maybe you can elaborate on that question. But like the prompt questions are here. You can find the prompt. Let me just generate this voice so that you guys can have a look at this real quick. But yeah, you can see here. Like you can see the preview for like whether it's actually a good voice or not. If you go to advanced mode, you can see here that this description is a lot more accurate. Young, results-driven YouTube script consultant. Confident, slightly hungry creative consultant who speaks like a practitioner, declares wins, teaches frameworks, guides you step by step. Right, early to mid 20s. It's me. Driven, candid, slightly playful. A YouTube scriptwriter, growth consultant. And here, there's a bunch more here. Right, and I think this is like a lot more accurate. So I encourage you guys to play with the voice. Okay, and then Shane asked where the prompt. So if you go here to the chat, here browse prompt library, or here browse prompt library, and you can see all of these prompts here. These are all custom prompts. These are frameworks for you to use, right? And you can literally mix and match these to make the experience like a lot better for you. Okay, so you can get the prompts in here. It's literally built into the app. Riley said, I thought tags, yeah, tags aren't as important, but it's just like good to have. It literally takes like 2 seconds to do. So like maybe it does help, maybe it doesn't, but it takes 2 seconds to do. You might as well, you know. Philip said, so a non-fictional news story and then create a fiction story. Stranger Team using the original video as the base. You could do that, just like a remix. Like you would have to like feed it the research that you want inside the script in order to like create that. But give it a shot. I've personally never done that before. Imani Ifi said, what I'm getting is you have to keep on researching to see what topics are doing well in your niche. As soon as you see a video is doing well, you should make a video about it. But it's about adapting your approach and maybe have 2 niches, making sure you're passionate about it, or at least don't mind making content on it, depending on your goal to make money or to make content. Obviously it's better if you can do both in one niche. Yeah, of course. Like you really just need one channel. Like I would encourage you guys to just focus on one channel, like right now, especially if you're just starting. Focus on one channel, right? And like you ideally should pick a niche that's profitable and something that you're passionate about, right? Maybe something that you do for a living, maybe you're a real estate agent. But if you're passionate about it and you care about it, it's a lot easier to stick with it. So I would keep that as number 1. And yeah, if there's like, you know, like kind of the process that I showed you, like looking at what outliers are doing, performing well in other channels, you don't have to do all of them. You just do the ones that are easy for you to record and is more aligned with your brand, right? Because if it's something that you wouldn't record and then you do it anyways, like your audience can feel it, you know, like people can like feel stuff through the screen. So yeah. Can you pull a transcript in order to determine tags? You don't really need a transcript to determine tags. You just need the title. The title will determine the tags. That's it. You don't really need a transcript. That's what James asked. You like Stranger Things, Brian? I remember you saying you watched it once. I watched a couple episodes. I never got around to like watching it fully, if I'm going to be honest. Antonio, it's nice to see you. It's been a minute. It's nice to see you. Can you use research to influence the script generation? For example, feed it a book on writing for audio drama to write a story using audio drama tips. Like in the new version that in like V3 of Subscriber, you'll be able to do that, but not with this. We're hoping we can launch V3 in like 1-2 weeks, I think. Like Gail has shown me some of like, and if you're in the Discord, he sent like product updates in terms of what he's working on, like literally like right before this call, an hour or 2 before this call. And I think it's really sick. He's showing me like what he's working on every single day. So I don't know, I'm pretty excited for like what it'll be able to do for you guys. Because number 1, it's trained on a lot of my frameworks. And I played around with it a little bit. The output is like just like way better than what we have now. So I'm just super excited. The UI is like super cool. You can paste an existing script that you already have onto Subscriber and then use Subscriber to edit the script when you weren't able to do that before. So that's really sick. You can like highlight certain areas, like, hey, improve this, because you can literally prompt it like that. That's gonna be sick. And then like what you mentioned, hey, can you use research to influence the script generation? So like feed in a book on writing audio drama. So you'll be able to create custom templates right? So you can train subscriber on, hey, like use these instructions to write like an audio drama, and then they'll be able to follow that directly. So I don't know, I think like if you want to use it for writing newsletters, right now it's like newsletter is more repurposed. But if you want to train it on writing newsletters, you actually can do that, right? Just like by having like custom prompts. And obviously it's trained on a bunch of YouTube data, so it's still going to be YouTube optimized. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that, for you guys to have that. Idea for a session: best flow to get started from setup to ideation, best practices to get started. I'm all over the map and don't know where to start and do this right. I'll like slowly I'll send you guys like resources and like emails on like exact workflow and like watching me write a script from start to finish. So you guys will get access to that in a little bit. Yeah, you guys have questions, join the Discord or just draw me an email. I'll drop you guys my email. Like drop me an email, brian@subscriber.ai. Literally every morning, first thing I do is I wake up, I respond to all these emails. So you guys have questions on how to write it, don't wait for these calls. Literally just drop me an email, and every morning I'll respond to all emails before I get started with work. Okay? If that's helpful for you guys. I would love to have the option to set once the competitors' channels for my channel, then have contextual chat that remembers my niche. Then get recommendations on what works in my niche based on what competitors are doing. Let me copy that and paste that somewhere. Okay, I'll make a note on that. Yannick, just drop me an email. Yannick, drop me an email. What's the difference between V1 and V2? V2, the interface is just completely different. We're going to redo the interface. It's going to be more of a chatbot interface. And there's going to be a lot of features that people have been requesting. You'll be able to write short form. You'll be able to write newsletters. You'll be able to like edit the script directly inside the chat. It's a lot more like you can write the body first and then you can write the hook. So it's not as convoluted, and it's trained on a lot of my frameworks. What's the difference between any tips on validating generate ideas before writing a script? I get a lot of inspiration, but not sure what works best for my niche, software developers. So you can like in terms of generating video ideas. So like here, if you have a video idea already, what you can do is like, hey, I want to make a video titled "The Exact Script Writing Style to Grow on YouTube in 2025. I want your help to validate the idea. Right? Give me data that supports and goes against in this video idea. Literally, you just like prompt it like that, and I'll send this in the chat, and you guys can let me know how this works. But then it will be able to like create a bunch of like data. Like you'll be able to like figure out, okay, like is it like is the idea good or is the idea bad? I'll give you data that supports yes, it's good, no, it's not. You can just talk to it back and forth until like, is the idea really good or not? So you can really validate the idea. And that's not saying that the idea will 100% hit and like, oh, like it'll be like super viral, but it definitely increases the chance of it, right? Like the probability of it hitting is a lot higher. I know that depends on the topic, but do you have a good way to know how much research would start to confuse the AI? Too much research will start confusing the AI. Like really, you don't want to feed it like too much information. Like really, when you think about giving it the research, you just want to think about what is the information that it needs to know. There's two buckets of information, right? That exists. One of it is the nice to know, and then there's like a need to know. Let me pull this up for you guys. Right? So there is nice to know information, and then there's like a need to know. Right? Need to know is exactly what you want to provide subscriber. So it's very easy course, anyone can do this. Anyone can just dump a bunch of research into Subscriber. Anyone can dump a bunch of research into ChatGPT or Claude, right? Anyone can do that. Like, it doesn't require a lot of thinking. But when you're using AI, you really want to think, what does it need to know in order to write the script, right? So, for example, I'm saying that, say, if the video I'm scripting is how to write a killer script, right? Nice to know information would be how analytics work, or how thumbnails work, or how to create a video title, right? Let's say that's all like nice to know. And then what it needs to know is how to write the hook, how to write the body, how to do storytelling, and then how to write a call to action. Does that make sense? Does this need to know versus nice to know make sense to you guys? I just get like a couple of yeses, so I know like this is actually useful. Nice to know versus need to know. Okay, a lot of the time, and I want to emphasize that I can create a whole video on this really. A lot of the time, people will add nice to know information, and when you feed it too much nice to know information, that's when it starts going off rails, right? But when you only feed it what it needs to know, then actually you won't have a problem with giving it too much research, right? Because you really give it too much research when you just dump it all. But when you filter through your research and say, hey, what do I need to feed it? What do I not need to feed it? Then it's able to think a lot clearer, and it's able to understand it a lot clearer. Yes, but doesn't Subscriber handle that for us? Would be nice to have it filter out junk info. I think you can filter out junk info with the ideation chat right now, but right now it doesn't filter it out. But it, like, once again, it's like it's just like not that smart to be able to know what to do with it right now. You know what I mean? Like that's something that we can for sure build in. But like for now, like it's also like really useful. Like if you're just being super duper lazy and you write a script, it's not going to come out good, right? Because lazy inputs equals lazy outputs. That's just how it is, right? It's like, oh, if you're lazy and you don't study for school, you're not going to do well in school. Simple as that, right? AI works the exact same way. Could you show the remix function? I kind of already showed the remix function a little bit, but you can watch through the call recording. I'll send over this call recording in a bit. So something I discovered is that you can use 70K words of research and it still doesn't use 80% of the research content. It uses credits, but the feedback of the research is never complete, no matter how much credit you add. I think there's a bug. Really, you don't want to be feeding it 70K words of research, because once you feed it 70K words of research, it's really hard to sort through it. And it uses the credits because like that's how much like it has to process all of that research. And just because it processes the research doesn't mean that it fully understands it, right? And like I explained this in one of my next YouTube videos. Okay, well, like this is how AIs work. Okay, can you guys see this? Yeah. Okay, so AIs have this thing called a context window. Okay, and the context window, think of it basically as a sheet of paper. It's a sheet of paper. Right, I don't have a sheet of paper with me. Okay, but let's say it's a sheet of paper. It's a sheet of paper, right? And the input and the output has to fit on the sheet of paper. Okay, so exactly, it's exactly what you're seeing on screen here. So if the input is like this, then the output will be like this, because it has to all fit into a sheet of paper, right? So when you give it too much input, right, and it has a cutoff, right? You can see it as a cutoff of how much it takes, or how much input it takes. So say it cuts off over here, but the research you give it is this much. What happens then? Then it actually cuts off all the research from here, and it doesn't read all of this. It still processes it. It shows like it processes it, but it doesn't read all of this. Does that make sense? And then the output will also be random because it doesn't read all of this. And it starts like, because the output cannot read all of the input, and then like everything it outputs will just be garbage. Does that make sense? So how do I know what the context window is? Context window is about 100,000 words. thereabout. But like you really don't want to push the context window because once again it's a sheet of paper, right? Like that's really like it really gives you an idea of like, okay, why Claude is able to write longer form content, at least from what I've seen, compared to ChatGPT. If you ask ChatGPT, if you watch my latest video on my channel, it's like I tested ChatGPT versus Claude versus Gemini. You can see if you watch the entire video, you'll kind of see like the main learnings is that ChatGPT can't give that long of an output, and the output is a lot longer. It's a lot shorter for ChatGPT because the context window is just shorter, right? That's kind of like the built-in limitation right now, and that's kind of how it is right now, right? And that's just the limits of the models. And Subscriber is built on these models where you can play around, but Claude is the longest because it has a longer context window. Even if it has a longer context window, definitely want to be careful with feeding it too much information, because when you feed it too much information, when you cross the context window, and then you're screwed, right? And that's where, like, thinking about it like this: what is my nice to know information to write the script, and what is my need to know? Does this make sense? Thumbs up, one in the chat or something if this makes sense, because this is a little bit of a higher level concept that that I think is pretty useful to understand with regarding these LLMs, and it's something that you really only understand once you've yes, okay, perfect. Yeah, and this is a concept you only understand once you've played around with it a bunch and you understand how it works. So obviously, I'm very fortunate to be working with Gil, and I like understanding the back end a lot better, so that I can kind of deliver this information to you guys. Okay, so if you guys like need to understand how it works, right, and like understanding how it works gives you a framework to think what specifically to feed it, right? And yeah, hopefully that's useful. Let me see. I'll try to get through it. Like we have like 10 minutes left. I'll try to get through a couple questions left. Can Subscriber help for vlog ideas from everyday life if there isn't a main theme, something to help with storytelling? Once again, you'd have to feed it information about your daily life, and then it can create a plan for you on what to do for blog, right? Like once again, if you don't give it context, it won't be able to do anything. So you need to give it some context. You can do this in the ideation chat actually, right? So like what you can do is like, hey, these are my 5 favorite vlogs. Give me the activities, like script the transcript and give me the activities from these vlogs. And then, hey, I like this idea, I like this idea, I like this idea, I like this idea, I like this idea. Oh, can you make this into a day in the life that I can film? You can actually do that at the ideation chat. There's a bunch of creative stuff that you can do with the ideation chat. Richard asks, how about using a base video, say a TED Talk on AI technology, and then get it to combine with a mythical story to make an updated version that incorporates AI? Example, Robinhood said in the future uses AI technology to rob the rich to feed the poor. You can do that. You can play around with that. I personally never done that. But what I would do is you pretty much feed that as the research. You want to feed the final product that you want as the research, right? So you want to have already combined both of them. So you can do ideation chat of that. Hey, this is a TED Talk on AI tech with Robinhood. Like, can you combine so that I can feed this as research into, so that I can feed this as research into the script? You can actually do that. I used a title generator tool. However, it gave me about 15 alternative title ideas. How would you evaluate which title would be best? That's a whole separate topic that I can make a whole video on. I can't answer that in 5 minutes. Can you draw me an email, Mohammed? Draw me an email, and I'll make sure to get to that. How do we get access to your course that you mentioned on the last call? Just draw me an email, Jodachi. Draw me an email. Will this recording be available? Yes, it will be available. So I'll send the recording immediately after the call once it's been processed. Will you share email questions and responses in the public area? Yeah, like if I find it useful and people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'll create some sort of resource and then I'll post it for you guys. Would that be a way to save previous voice instructions so we can revert back to previous voice instructions? So you can change your different voices here. So you can see here, if you go to channels, Here you can change different voices, so you can play around with that. But I'm not sure if we can save the previous voice instructions. I want to make a video titled "The Exact Script Writing Style." Okay, no, that's my message. I'm tripping. Yeah, add the upcoming bot will be great. So, can we ask an LLM to give us the need to know on a certain topic and feed that into subscriber? Yeah, 100%. You can even like ask the ideation chat, like, oh, here's a bunch of the research. Can you summarize this into like need to know information that I can feed into a subscriber so that the research is a lot more concise? It's good. Any roadmap for keyword research as well, something like vidIQ has. Keyword research isn't really a thing, but if you want to do keyword research, you can go to tools here. I can go here actually. Here you can see here, browse the prompt library. I believe this post-production. Here, social. I can't find it, but you can basically like, hey, find me the top 10 keywords related to YouTube script writing. And you can just talk back and forth with it. Like it'll help you find keywords here. I've been using an AI agent that can take a couple articles and then expand research for me. Okay, so research could be a summary of a deep research report. Yeah, you want to keep it within context. Sunu asks, what proportion of need versus nice to know should we have in a killer script? It's just all need to know, right? Like if the viewer doesn't need to know that information in order to execute something or like to follow the story, you just cut it out. Because like there's this quote that's like, oh, like great writing comes from editing or something like that. Or like really like a piece of writing is really great when it's like shorter or like when it's able to explain something in a simple way, right? Really, if you watch all of my videos and like all of my script writing education on my channel, maybe I'll link my channel if you guys don't know who I am. But when you guys watch my channel, you'll realize that it's really only information that you need to know. All the scripts take time for me to write because it's all need to know, right? And it's the same thing. If you want to write faster, subscriber, just feed it need to know information. That's really it. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Started making additional AI workflows. Please keep these meetings going. All the best until next time. Man, if you guys, 100 of you guys show up every time, I would do this meeting every single week, right? And this is just the first month of us testing it. We may even do more of these if like consistently 100 of you guys shows up. Because you guys clearly have a ton of questions, right? And I'm happy to answer these questions in a group setting because I think this is really informative. And then I can send this recording. A lot of people will watch this recording and whatnot. Okay, a bunch of hearts, thumbs up, celebration emoji, good information. I need to run. Okay. So Rashida asked, would there be an update to sharing or exporting the subscriber output? Here, let me show you how to do it. So if you go to channels, and I'm trying to find like a fully written script. Like let's say you fully wrote a script here. Here on the left bar, so if you go into the actual script, you can go into the left bar and you see here export here on the bottom left. You guys see this export on the bottom left on the left bar, export, and then you scroll down here. There's the copy option where you can copy it and you can paste it, or you can download it. So download it will get you into a Word doc you can see over here. Okay, see that? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are the best. Do you personally use the teleprompter? Not what is your process? I use a separate teleprompter. I don't use the subscriber teleprompter. Really, I have a studio here that I record. I just use whatever they have. I'm not a picky guy. So, I mean, export the chat content, Rashida. Yeah, this is literally it. Export the chat content. Like this will download the entire script. Not sure what you mean. But yeah, that will literally help you export the entire script. No, the chat, not the script, like the ideation chat.
In the interest of time, yeah. So when you're creating the chats, there's the tables and all of the formatting when you're just in the chat mode. And that's the part where it's been that exactly. In this section, there's a lot that's generated in here, and it would be great to be able to put that into something like a Google Docs, but the content does not export or embed the way the share links are set up. So this is where a lot of knowledge base can be created, but it's locked.
I see. Yeah.
So this,
let me drop to Gil a message on that. How do I?
and that manual copy paste, it's just a major, if you're trying to scale and do a lot, it's extremely time consuming and it doesn't format, but it's very easy to change the scripting for embed or at least or copy paste, but it doesn't allow for this.
Okay. Yeah, John is also saying the copy button in ideation doesn't work. I'll talk to Gil about that. But yeah, that makes sense to want to copy paste it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I've used this. You're right. The copy paste can be a lot better. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I'll let Gil know and we'll do something. Okay. Thank you. Cool. I'm gonna assume there's no more questions. One last update for you guys who stayed all the way to the end. In terms of what Gil is working on, he's working on V3 of the product. So I think we're gonna have something to show for it in the next 1 to 2 weeks, which I don't know, I'm incredibly stoked about. I think you guys are incredibly stoked about that too. So that's what Gil has been working on. And what I've been working on is now there are already a bunch of videos that I've recorded on Subscriber, like education. You'll be able to find it in the Discord. So like you guys will have access to all of that. And also I am kind of working on this little shebang, which I would like to give you guys a preview for, just for staying all the way here. Yeah, I'm going to be recording all of these over the next couple of weeks. Right, YouTube funnels. What is a YouTube funnel? How do you think about finding viral video ideas? How to write titles? How to create outlines? How to automate production? Right, call funnel, VSL funnel, email list funnel. This will be useful for you business owners. How to track conversions per video? Right, how do I know which video is converting the best? How to create an offer? Different products you can sell on YouTube. Product creation. Right, many of you guys have an audience but don't have a product. So how can you launch a product as fast as possible and have the content recorded? YouTube scaling, how to hire, how to manage team, how to batch record, how to review edits, like video edits, how to set up a winning recording setup, analytics, branding, positioning, monetization, channel longevity. And then a lot of people ask for this, like, how do you set up a recording studio? How to record professional videos? So this is what I'll be working on over the next couple of weeks. So you guys can expect some of this information to get to you guys. I'm gonna be pumping all of this out over the next week. It's literally just taking all the information that I have, putting it onto paper, just for you guys. So yeah, cool. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for showing up. If you guys have questions, my email is here. I'll drop my email again. That's my email. If you guys have questions, drop me an email. I respond to every single email. If I don't respond, ping me so that I respond. But yeah, thank you guys and take care. Peace.